Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're cracking open Rich Dad, Poor Dad
All right.
by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
This one's for those of you, you're all about leveling up your financial game fast.
Right.
And this book's a classic for a reason.
Definitely.
It digs into how the wealthy think about money differently
It's true.
than the rest of us.
It's not about pulling in huge paychecks.
Yeah,
It's about
right.
grasping those core concepts that can help you build wealth over the long haul.
Yeah, and I love how Kiyosaki uses his own life,
Right.
growing up with two dads.
Yeah.
One rich, one not so much,
I love that.
to get these points across.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to kick things off with what might be the biggest lesson from the book.
Let's do it.
All right, Kiyosaki's big idea is this.
Okay.
Rich people don't work for money. Money works for them.
Yes.
Now,
Love it.
before anyone tunes out thinking this is about kicking back on a beach somewhere,
Right.
what does that actually mean in a practical sense?
Yeah, it's all about a mindset shift. So instead of, trading your time for dollars at a job,
Right.
you really want to focus on building assets.
Okay.
And these are things that put money back in your pocket even when you're not actively working.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Kiyosaki makes a really clear distinction between assets and liabilities.
Yes.
An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money OUT.
That's it.
Simple enough.
Deceptively simple. Because this is where I think a lot of people have that aha moment
Yeah,
when they really start to think about it.
totally.
And, a good example is think about a house.
Okay.
A lot of people, they consider their house their biggest asset.
Right.
But when you really think about it, because of your mortgage payments, your property taxes, the upkeep, all of that, Kiyosaki would argue that's actually a liability.
So it's not about what something is worth
Right.
on paper,
Exactly.
but its actual impact on your cash flow.
Precisely. That's a huge mental shift, I think,
Right.
for a lot of people to make. Like even that brand new car,
Yeah.
It loses value the second you drive it off the lot.
Totally.
Or the latest tech gadget, all of those things. They might make you happy in the short term,
Right.
but are they putting money back in your pocket?
And this is making me rethink a lot of my spending habits already, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, okay, if those aren't assets,
Right.
what are some examples of things that are?
Yeah. So think of things that generate income or appreciate in value. So like stocks, bonds, rental properties,
Okay.
even a business that you own where it runs without you needing to be there every minute.
Right, so you're not trading your time for those dollars.
Exactly.
That passive income idea is definitely appealing.
Yeah.
It's like having your money work for you
Exactly.
even while you sleep.
Exactly.
So how does someone go from
Yeah.
understanding the difference between assets and liabilities
Right.
to actually owning assets?
Yeah. That's the big question, right?
That builds real wealth.
Yeah.
Like that feels like a big leap.
It is a journey.
Yeah.
It is a journey, and it starts with knowledge. One of the things that Kiyosaki argues is that, traditional education
Right.
focuses on getting a good job,
Right.
not building wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where financial literacy comes in.
So it's like we're taught to be good employees,
Yes.
not necessarily good business owners or investors.
Precisely.
Right.
And we end up kind of stuck in that rat race,
Yeah.
working for money, paying bills, never getting ahead. But, one of the things that Kiyosaki argues is that it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
Yeah. Anyone can learn to break free from that cycle and build a life of financial freedom.
It's about taking control.
Right. Exactly.
Not just
Yeah.
accepting the status quo, but actively creating the financial future you want.
Exactly. It's about challenging your assumptions.
Yeah.
Questioning that traditional path
Mm.
and building a financial life on your own terms.
I love it. Okay. So it's about more than just understanding these concepts.
Right.
It's about taking action.
Yeah.
What are some practical steps someone can take
Yeah. How do you actually do this up?
to start shifting their mindset and building that path to financial freedom?
Well, I think it all starts with, when you have a little bit of extra income,
Okay.
making conscious choices with your money. So instead of automatically spending it,
Right.
On whatever,
Right.
you have to ask yourself,
Yeah.
how can I use this to acquire assets that will generate more income in the future?
So it's about making your money work for you,
Exactly.
not the other way around.
Yeah,
That's a whole new way of thinking.
yeah. That probably feels pretty daunting for someone who's
It is.
used to thinking about money in a more traditional way. It is. It is. And Kiyosaki talks about this in his book.
Yeah.
Um, he uses the example of Ray Kroc,
Oh, yeah.
the founder of McDonald's.
I remember that, yeah.
It wasn't just about selling burgers.
Exactly.
It was about building a real estate empire.
You're building a real estate empire? Exactly.
So how do we find...
That's the kind of thinking that we need to cultivate.
Yeah. How do we find our own version of that, though?
Right.
That feels like a big leap to go from
Good, yeah.
understanding assets and liabilities to spotting those golden opportunities in our everyday lives.
And that's where mentorship comes in.
Okay.
Kiyosaki, he really emphasizes this.
Yeah.
Learning from those who've already achieved what you want to achieve.
So it's like having a guide on this journey.
Yeah.
Someone who can help you spot those opportunities
Right.
and avoid those potential pitfalls.
Exactly.
Right.
Could be a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a mentor in your field.
Even just seeking out
Right.
books,
Podcasts like this one.
podcasts like this one. Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to learn from others' experiences.
So it's about being proactive, putting yourself out there,
Yes.
and not being afraid to ask for guidance.
Exactly.
Okay, let's say someone's on board with all of this.
Okay.
They're starting to reduce their liabilities. They're
Yeah.
starting to acquire assets.
Right.
What are some common mistakes people make along the way? What should they watch out for?
Well, I think a big one is, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of potential quick wins,
Oh, yeah?
get rich quick schemes, all of that. But, building wealth, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And I think it's very easy to
research.
confuse investing with speculating.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to do your research, make
Yeah.
informed decisions, and be prepared for the long haul.
Yeah, have a long-term vision.
Exactly. Another pitfall is letting fear hold you back.
Oh, yeah.
It's natural to be afraid of making mistakes, especially with something as important as money.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of people get stuck in that analysis paralysis.
yes,
Right. They're so worried about doing the wrong thing,
exactly.
they end up doing nothing at all.
And that inaction can be even more costly
Right.
in the long run. And I always like to remind people, there's no such thing as a perfect investment.
Right.
There will always be some risk involved. The key is to educate yourself, manage that risk effectively, and learn from your experiences, both good and bad.
It's about progress over perfection.
Precisely.
Right. Taking those small steps forward, even if you stumble along the way.
Exactly. And you don't have to go it alone. Seek out those mentors.
Yeah.
Build a supportive community. Celebrate those small victories along the way.
That's such an important reminder.
Yeah,
Building wealth doesn't have to be a solitary pursuit.
it doesn't.
Okay, we've talked about the mindset shift, the importance of mentorship,
Yes.
and some common pitfalls to avoid.
Right.
What else should someone who's serious about building wealth keep in mind?
One thing that often gets overlooked is just, it's amazing how much money can slip through the cracks if
Totally.
you're not paying attention.
Oh, I'm guilty of that.
And so I think, don't underestimate the power of tracking your expenses and creating a budget.
Oh, yeah. It's easy to lose track of
Exactly.
those small, everyday purchases that can add up.
Those daily coffees, impulse buys, subscriptions you're not even using,
Yes.
they can really make a dent in your finances.
Yeah.
And so just having a clear picture of where your money is going
Right.
allows you to make more conscious decisions about your spending.
Yeah, it's about aligning your spending habits with your financial goals.
Precisely.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not about,
It's not about depriving yourself. It's
Yeah.
just about being mindful and making choices that support your long-term well-being.
what about multiple streams of income?
Oh.
That seems to be a recurring theme
Yes.
in a lot of personal finance advice.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
It's one of the most powerful ways to build wealth and create financial security.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people get stuck on the how.
Right.
Like they understand the concept of passive income,
Yeah.
but they're not sure how to actually create it.
It's about thinking outside the box and exploring different avenues that align with your interests and skills.
Okay.
You could start a side hustle.
Mhm.
You could invest in dividend-paying stocks.
Yeah.
You could rent out a spare room or property.
Correct.
You could create and sell digital products, or even start your own business.
Wow. The possibilities really are endless.
They are. And the best part is you don't have to do it all at once.
Right.
Start with one thing that excites you.
Yeah.
something you're passionate about,
Yeah.
because that passion will fuel your efforts and make the journey that much more rewarding.
Yeah. It's like finding that sweet spot where your passions and your skills can actually generate income.
Right.
That's a really powerful idea.
It is.
But I imagine it takes a lot of experimentation. Honestly, probably some setbacks along the way, right?
Absolutely. Building wealth, it isn't always a straight line.
Right.
There will be challenges, there will be setbacks,
Yeah.
there will be moments of doubt,
Totally.
but that's all part of the process.
Right.
And I think the key is to embrace the journey, learn from your mistakes, and never give up on your goals.
Yeah, it's about resilience.
Yes.
Not letting those bumps in the road derail you from your ultimate destination.
That's it.
This whole conversation has been really inspiring. We've covered so much ground, from understanding the difference between assets and liabilities
Right.
to the power of mentorship and multiple streams of income.
Yeah, and it really all comes back to that fundamental shift in mindset
Yeah.
that we talked about earlier. It's about taking control of your financial destiny.
Yeah.
It's about educating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's about making conscious choices that support your long-term well-being.
Yeah. It's about realizing that you have more power than you might think
Yes,
to create the life you want. Right.
exactly.
You don't have to settle.
You don't have to settle for the status quo.
Yeah.
You have the ability to design your own financial future.
I love that.
And it starts with knowledge, but it also takes action.
So for anyone listening who's feeling fired up and ready to take that first step,
Yeah, what's that one thing?
what's one actionable thing they can do, like right now?
I always come back to this one because it's so powerful. Start by tracking your expenses
Okay.
for the next 30 days.
Yeah.
You were talking about it earlier. You've been there. It's eye-opening.
Mhm.
Once you see where your money is actually going,
Yes.
you can identify areas to cut back and redirect those funds towards building assets.
It's about awareness and then action, right?
Exactly.
It's about making those small but consistent choices
Right.
that add up to big results over time.
Exactly. Yeah.
This has been such an insightful deep dive
It has.
into Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
It's a good one.
It's amazing how a book
Yeah.
written years ago
Right.
can still feel so relevant and thought-provoking today.
It speaks to the timelessness of these principles.
Yeah.
The fundamentals of building wealth haven't changed that much,
Right.
even in our rapidly evolving world.
Totally. Totally.
They really haven't.
It's a great reminder that we all have the potential
We do.
to achieve financial freedom,
Yeah.
regardless of our background or our current circumstances.
Absolutely.
It starts with a shift in mindset,
Yes.
a willingness to learn,
Yeah.
and the courage to take action.
I love it.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll be back next time with another fascinating topic.
It's good.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep building that life you envision.